Excuse me, could you just move up a little bit?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas and welcome to the town of Hempstead, December 21st, 2021 board meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Clayton.
Here.
Councilman Blakeman.
Here.
Councilman Queenie.
Here.
Councilman Diaz-Candido.
I'm here.
Councilman Dunn. Here. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Councilman Mascarello. Receiver of Taxes Janine Driscoll. Here.
Great. I'm now going to ask Councilman Blakeman for the last time as a town board member to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise if you're able and join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please call the public hearing.
We have a proposal of law regarding restricted parking in residential areas near Belmont Park Racetrack in Elmont.
Supervisor, before we proceed, I'm going to ask that a typographical error be changed in the proposed local law. The streets that are listed in Chapter 202 under parking that state the restrictions for permitted parking as per this section shall apply to the following should include underneath subcategory 1, Sterling Road from the south curb line of Hempstead Turnpike south to the north curb line of 109th Street. That would be the third listed street following Locust Wood Boulevard and Heathcote Road.
Thank you very much for that incredibly monotone description. And now I'm going to ask if any member of the board wishes to be heard on this. Madam Clerk, hold on.
Is it street or avenue?
It's Sterling Road.
Right, but the end, 109th Avenue, just to be...
Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, it's 109th Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, we good? Great. Does any member of the board wish to speak on this item? If not, there are a number for put in their slips regarding this. We'll start with Bob Barker. I'm going to ask anybody that comes to public comment, you can just go to the back podium, and you have 3 minutes, and we welcome you here today. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. If you just give your name and address to the record, too. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Bob Barker. I live on Sussex Road, homeowner over there, and I'm also the president of the Locust Wood Gotham Civic Association, which covers that area. Today, I'm here to express our concerns in reference to the parking going on from Wellington Road all the way back to 109th and the streets as far as Plainfield going back east. The parking restriction at this point in time has been a total inconvenience to the residents of this area. We have the parking that has been regulated by the UBS Arena has not been completed, causing a real influx in terms of the homeowners, the inconvenience, the total disrespect in terms of people are parking on the side streets, sidewalks, urinating on people's lawns. I mean, you can't even get in and out of your own driveways. We ask that you really put an emphasis on this and pass this legislation to have these signs changed, and hoping that we'll be able to expedite this as soon as possible so we can get ahead with our lives in terms of bringing back the suburban environment that we so choose. We don't want to feel that we're living in Manhattan or even in Brooklyn, but we want to maintain this suburban life. And we ask you that you pass this legislation in terms of having these signs changed, and we would like this to be done effectively as soon as possible so we can have some peace and quiet and without the total disrespect and interruption for this entire community. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Barker. Appreciate you coming down. Just so you know that, we heard the concerns right away of the residents. We also received communication from the police commissioner, and that's why we added this emergency board meeting to address it now. If we didn't want this to wait until January, we wanted it to be dealt with right away. We appreciate you coming down and supporting this because we want to get on this right away. You know what? You deserve, some tranquility and a great area. And as I said, that's why we put this on the calendar because the arena, obviously is affecting your community and your livelihood and your enjoyment, and that's why we're here to get it done for you, okay? So thank you very much for coming out. Merry Christmas to you.
I'd also like to say, in reference what Supervisor said, Bob, you've been a pleasure. You're a true gentleman. The patience of Almont supersedes all the commotion and the stuff that was dumped on you from unkept promises, not having the parking garage in place at the time of the event. I appreciate what you've done here today by bringing this to the attention of the board. This is an accomplishment of yours in communication with the community, and you're truly a good public servant. I thank you for being the intel to make us who we are. Have a Merry Christmas, Bob.
Next I have Ross McDonald.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Mr. McDonald. Please give me your name and address for the record. That'd be awesome.
McDonald, 43 Hathaway Avenue, Elmont, New York. Since day one, since the UBS Arena opened up, there has been chaos with the traffic and parking. It seems that UBS underestimated the parking problem and traffic problems extending from Hempstead Turnpike and even on their own parking facilities. They lack, traffic agents, parking agents to control the traffic and direct the people to proper parking. And in this instance, many of the Islander fans found it very convenient at our expense to park wherever they could, 3 blocks away from the arena. And this situation, they have been parking in front of homeowners' houses, parking wherever they could find space, zooming past stop signs, exceeding the speed limit of 30 miles an hour. I'm sure there's been a couple of accidents that were reported. There's not enough sufficient police present to enforce the parking and speeding laws around Elmont that border the UBS Arena. Me and my wife experienced this personally on day one when the UBS Arena opened up with the Islander fans. Now, the situation with that was on Hempstead Turnpike, there was insufficient police presence from the 5th Precinct, insufficient parking employees, insufficient traffic agents to enforce the traffic rules on Hempstead Turnpike. So what do the Islander fans do looking for parking if they couldn't get into the parking lots in the arena? They scramble through our neighborhood, speeding over 30 miles an hour, passing by stop signs, and parking wherever they could find parking and jamming people's driveways. I don't think this is fair to our community because I believe that if this situation happened in Garden City, enforcement would have arrived a long time ago. The police need to enforce speeding and parking regulations, number one. They should go through the community and see if anyone who is illegally parked, 99% of the time would be someone from the arena who do not want to pay those exorbitant parking fees. Another issue for our problems is lack of foresight from our political leaders.
Mr. McDonald, obviously, that the law enforcement before it comes to the county level, that's the county representatives, but I do want to let you know, like yourself and our other speakers, residents reach out to us. We did get a letter from the commissioner asking us to address this, and that's why we're having this meeting. to pass the legislation, to then ask the county to do the enforcement. And I know Commissioner Ryder said they will get them in there. But that's why we're here today. We want to help you. We heard you loud and clear. That's why we're doing it. And like I said, if we pass it today, it'll be going to effect right away. And they have to be good neighbors to you. And like I said, so we stand with you. So we appreciate you coming here today. And like I said, I feel confident about the vote on this. And then we'll get it right to the county. And I know that, you know what, after the first of the year, you're going to have somebody up there in the county, who's really got a say and is hearing you loud and clear right now. He sits next to me. So that's a good thing. But like I said, that's why this meeting's here today. If we didn't have this meeting here today, it would have had to wait till January. And I know the residents in Elmont don't want to wait until January. So we're here for you today, okay? Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming here.
I'd like to say one other thing in reference to, you mentioned one of the incorporated villages. The villages are at an advantage when it comes to things like this. The smaller form of government is more responsible. So South Floral Park, Garden City, when something like this is to take away the suburbs from us who pay the taxes to live in the suburbs, it's very important that here, today, that we're doing this to be a higher form of government, which is a little bit less responsive, but we're following the protocol of the villages to dial in to make sure that my hometown, Elmont, gets proper representation, and if the county is not doing the proper job, I want everybody to know that the next county exec of Nassau County is coming from this board, Bruce Blakeman, and I'd like to acknowledge him for all the future help that he's going to give the town. So hang in there, Elmont.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next, I have a slip from Rudy Brod. Good morning. If you just give me your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Rudy Mirage. I live at 20 Wellington Road. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having this meeting. Appreciate it a lot. So I actually live a few houses from the arena. So everything that you're going to hear that everyone says, absolutely true. I'm not going to repeat that. We know what the traffic is like. I'm going to give you what my experience is, because I'm directly across the street from the arena. So since it opened a little before Thanksgiving, last week they had an event over there, and I had, in my driveway can only hold a few cars. I have people that usually come over to my house, just as everyone else does. So I literally had to stand in the middle of the street and stop traffic on both ways, so that I can control the traffic to get in and out of my own parking. My neighbor right next to me got into a fight with someone because they pulled into his driveway. Again, we are directly across the street from the arena, a few houses in. The other issue that we're having on Wellington is that since I've been there, and I've been there about 3 years now, people like to use that road as a speedway. So within the last year, my car's been hit 2 times, parked on the street, cost me over $25,000. I've heard from the residents, they've applied for speed bumps, and nothing's been done. With the arena and the traffic that's going on, this will be something I think the committee needs to look into, because it's one road that connects you directly to the highway. Everyone is speeding up and down. It's a small street, and it's a 2-way street with parking. So again, it cost me over $25,000, and that's a brand new car. Within 1 year, okay? The traffic, as everybody said, traffic is ridiculous. 12 o'clock in the morning after the game ended, there was one game that ended on a Sunday, 12 o'clock in the morning. There's an hour-long line to get out of the street, and everyone is beeping and cursing, everyone. So it's getting a little ridiculous, especially, and I think everybody in here who lives in Elmont and Long Island can say, for the taxes we pay over there, it's a little crazy. So thank you very much. That's my concerns, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. Thank you to everyone for coming out and voicing your opinion on it. Thank you.
Yes, I would just like to say that Number one, about 10 days ago, I was contacted by people in the community as well, because Councilman Muscarella and I share Almont, and people were voicing the same issues that you're bringing up today. Spoke with Commissioner Ryder, as Supervisor Clavin said. They are going to beef up the enforcement over there. They are adding more assets over there to make sure that the enforcement is very, very intensive. And I just want to say that this is a state operation. The state controls that facility. If this was the town of Hempstead that controlled it, this supervisor and this town board would never have let the Islanders move in and open that arena without that parking garage being open. So I think the state did a real injustice to the people of Almont, and the town's on top of it, the county's on top of it, and we'll do the best we can. But the fact is that we never would have granted a certificate of occupancy so they could open that arena without that parking garage open. That's the problem. So until that parking garage is open, we're going to intensify enforcement.
I'd just like to say one other thing to add to that. Right now we're discussing the arena, and that's great, but I'm in touch with the development team on a regular basis, and I'm sure everyone gets the emails. I apologize.
Very well, I'll tell you, and I want to follow up. In fact, Kathy Malone was going to raise her hand, is going to follow up. Yeah, that's my sister. I just want to let you know, and all the residents here from Elmont. The day that arena opened up, everybody reached out to us and said, there's a problem with parking in the community. And like I said, and I asked the town board members, I said, we have to put this on for a hearing. Who's up for a special meeting? We're here today because we get it. This place has to be good neighbors to you. And when it comes to your road, Wellington, I know it, so I'm going to tell you this also. We're going to go down, we're going to look at the traffic, maybe there's something else we can add to the road. I'm not going to make a promise on speed bumps, because speed bumps are a bit of an issue, especially when it comes to plowing roads, and we all know that. But I know it, and I drove over, and I see it. The arena has to be good neighbors, because the neighbors are, you know what, they live there. We're going to do everything we can, and like I said, the county executive-elect has said they're going to have law enforcement. This is step one, and you know what? We're acting because all of you were here and spoke. So we heard the live clip. Kathy's going to follow up with you after on any other issues. We have a number of people who go through, and if I don't skip, I know, Rudy. But the problem is, if I let you go over 3 minutes, other people in the media yell at me. Trust me.
The arena is not going to be the only problem. You also bring a shopping center.
And by the way, you're Rudy. You're 100. No, by the way, but I'm going to tell you, Rudy, you're right. You're right. So that's what I said. You know, we hear everybody. You know, and this is a big concern what the state's put over there. Next, I have Keith Dalbasa.
I'll go with these things.
Well, I got to go through the list of names. I got a list of names. So it's Keith. You here? Oh, okay, there you go. So there you go. Good morning, if you give me your name and address for the record. And for the gentleman in the back, sir, if you go in the back and you can do the sign-in sheet in the back area, when you walk in, they'll take your name and number and we'll get you right on the list. Morning, how you doing? Give me your name and address for the record.
Good morning, my name is Lori Barbosa. I live on Hoffman Avenue in Elmont. My concern is the traffic, obviously, but I have a bigger question here. My concern and my issue with all of this, one of the major issues, is that when you have the racetrack open and they had their races, I saw a lot of the times they had big girders blocking us from coming out of our neighborhoods. You couldn't get onto Hempstead Turnpike at all. You literally had to go down Elmont Road and cut around. You couldn't get onto onto Hempstead Turnpike. Now I'm seeing something completely different. So where is the energy that was used to keep us from coming out of our neighborhoods onto Hempstead Turnpike? Where is that energy being used to stop these people coming into our neighborhoods? There's drinking, there's fighting, there's urination, some of these young ladies are drunk. I mean, where is the energy that was used for that situation? Why are we not getting the same thing? And we're talking about having police out there. Tell me, where is that money going to come to pay for those police? Is that coming out of our tax dollars, or is UPS responsible for that?
I would imagine for police enforcement, that's absolutely going to come out of all of our tax dollars. But when it comes to the enforcement, I know that's a Nassau County issue. We don't have a police department here in the town of Hempstead. I'm sure, you know, like I said, you've heard that the councilman is well aware of what the concern is, and he'll work, and we would hope your county legislator, whoever they may be, I don't know who it is down there, that they would be, you know, talking to the police department. They're the ones who have to go down and do the enforcement. But to the credit of the police commissioner, I do want to bring up, he sent us a letter right away saying we need to change all the signs down there. He really, and that's why we're doing this right away, so he can go down there and issue tickets and give enforcement and have people learn a lesson that go pay for the arena parking, don't park in your driveway. Go pay for the arena parking, don't block our streets. So we're with you on it, but we don't run the police department. He will, but he's going to be there on January 1st, and he gets it. He wants to help. That's why we're all here today. So we'll do what we can. But, you know, the other forces that really comply with the enforcement, the blocking streets, that's not us. And I can't tell them what to do. But like I said, what this community has reached out to us, and we're here to do what we can to try and alleviate that. Because you know what? We're going to do the best we can. And now the county police will have a tool or a mechanism to go in there and really teach people. Don't let, you know, they're driving into your neighborhood. And they don't care. And that's not right. So that's why we're going to give them a tool to write some tickets to them, teach them a lesson. Don't pay $40 to go park in the parking spot. Don't block Rudy's driveway. That's what we're trying to do here.
Now, I do have another question.
Yep.
I was on a Zoom call, and there was a discussion around having these permit for parking. But it was said that it was going to be a couple of those blocks right off the Hempstead Turnpike. I don't live right directly off the Hempstead Turnpike. I live on Hoffman.
We did.
So my question to you is if you're going to do that, what happens to the other blocks, like Hoffman?
Actually, we expanded it much more. And we've actually asked, Joe, my rep, we're asking the state to expand the whole map. That the state gave us, you know, limited what we could do. So we didn't say like 2 blocks in Elmont. We're doing it for all Elmont. You know, we're doing it for everybody. But you know what? Because our concern was exactly that okay, they're alleviated here, but now they're going further in. That's not right. So we're doing all of it, but we've also reached out, and the town attorney can explain to you, we're asking to expand this. Joe?
That's exactly correct, Supervisor. There on our administrative calendar, which follows this hearing, you'll see what's called a home rule message. We're asking the Senate up in Albany and the Assembly in Albany to pass legislation that enables us to expand the parking district vastly to other areas of Elmont that have been impacted, that have been affected by all of these events, and also Belrose Terrace too, which has been affected by all these events.
I mean, the state put this over there, and now the state's got to clean up their mess. We're going to do what we can here, but you know what? The state shouldn't say, you know, it's only, you know, this part of it. We're taking care of all Elmont today. But it's not just Elmont that's affected by this arena. So we're asking the state to you know, really have the foresight to realize what you've put in this community is affecting several others. So we're with you, and so I just want to fill you on that one.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for coming, and Merry Christmas. Next I have Nicole Belizaire.
I was actually with Lori, and you addressed my concern, which was to make sure that the restricted parking extends beyond just the streets adjacent.
Awesome, but you still get a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Lucusia, yeah? Lakeisha.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning. Can you just get your name and address for the record? Thank you very much for coming out.
My name is Lakeisha Gale, and my address is 10 Heathcote Road in Elmont. So I'm literally right across the street, as Mr. Rudy said. My house is literally one house away from, across the street from the new arena. I'm right outside of the gas stations, the mobile gas station. Yeah, so I am not going to even bore you with the extensive issues that we're going through, because I know it's kind of redundant to you all because you've been sitting here listening to it over and over again. And let me first say I appreciate this meeting. Number one, I appreciate the fact that you are willing to stitch up a cut that you did not do. So we appreciate that. We understand that this is a major cut and you guys did not perform it. UBS Arena and the state. So I guess my first issue, my issue is definitely the parking, but more of my issue with the parking is the safety issues. Like Mr. Reed said, we have cars blowing up and down our block. We have children. We have multiple, at least, I want to say, 18 children that live on our block that can't go outside. Like even during the school, like when we're picking, my husband and I are picking our kids up from school, I have to hold my 8-year-old's hand because at any point, a car comes barreling out of the gas station, flying down the block because everybody starts early. These people come at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon to start to look for parking. Because they see now that they can't come at 5, 6 o'clock anymore. They have to be there early. We've had people sitting outside in front of our house camped out, waiting for parking. I am happy about the fact that there are going to be new laws and that you guys may pass the no parking only for residents. I am excited about that. But my issue goes to who's going to enforce it. I've been living in my home for 15 years. I have seen the police come and enforce the 4 p.m. parking exactly one time in 9 years. So it's great to have parking, but if nobody is there to enforce it, it's kind of a moot point. So I'm not sure if that's your area, if you can do something about it. I did hear you state before that it's the police job and you guys kind of don't control that. But whatever you can do on your end to make sure that not only is it passed, but it is also enforced. The residents of Elmont, our children, would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Matt, listen, first of all, thank you very much for coming. And as I said, I get it. I drove over there, take a look, and it's not limited to a hockey game. It's everything over there. And as I said, look, the police commissioner reached out. I feel confident that he really wants to send, a message to people parking down there. Kudos, and we got to stay on top of that. And if it's looking at other variations down there on speeds of the roadways, I'm happy. I'll have the traffic control go down there, and it won't be at 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, let's be realistic here. A lot of this probably is now happening. Like you said, people showing at 4 o'clock because they say, I want to park close to the place. 7 o'clock, and then people race out of there at 11 o'clock because everybody wants to get in the parkway, Rudy. Everyone's getting adult parkway where they're doing. I get it. So we want to work with you. Like I said, this was thrust upon you, and we're going to do everything we can, but there's only so much we can control. But like I said, I feel confident that the police department, the commissioner said, can you do this for us? We want to send our officers in that are write tickets. They want to start off on the right foot, but it can't end after a week or a month, and that's a good thing. That's what I said. And so we'll monitor it. We'll work with our colleague who's going up there. But like I said, the fact that the police commissioner is like, we want to get people in there. We want to do it. I think he's well aware that the state put this in there. They didn't open up a parking garage. He's getting the calls, and he's tapped into doing the right thing with the residents too. And like I said, and I'm happy to follow up with doing road studies down there too. We want to be good neighbors. And Kathy Malone right there, raise your hand. Kathy, that's my sister. You give me that. I'll take that. Next I have Lori Barbosa. Well, you jumped the line. All right, you still get a Merry Christmas too. All right. Michael Gale. Hey, how are you? Do you? I did give you a Merry Christmas in the beginning. I promise you that. I said that first. I make sure I have it right here. Wish everyone Merry Christmas. I'm trying to say that. Now you got me all nervous. Michael, Merry Christmas. Can we even name an address for the record?
Gail, 10 Heathcote Road. That's my wife.
Merry Christmas.
Pretty much covered everything. What I will say, I'm concerned about the employees of the racetrack. I'm sure all of them don't make $1 million a year, so they're showing up early to work and looking for a parking spot that they can afford. And if you make minimum wage, you probably don't want to pay $50 to park every day. So I come home with my kids, and I have people parked in front of my house. And I'm being as nice as I can. with my kids in the car, and I'm explaining, you can't camp out here until the restriction is lifted. You just can't do that. And I feel bad, but I don't. You know, so the question is, really, where was the foresight? We had Zoom meetings, we had conversations, we knew the parking was going to be an issue. We said it in the meetings. We know there's going to be more problems once other things are built, because trucks can't go on the Cross Island Parkway. They're going to have to come down Hempstead Turnpike. We know these problems are coming. What are we doing now proactively to address these? Because we don't need to be here in 6 months talking about other issues relative to new construction.
Yeah, so, sir, just to remind the community, Councilman Muscarella and myself, who represent Elmont, we oppose the arena being placed in Elmont. We preferred that the Islanders play at Uniondale, and we sent a letter to the governor, we sent a letter to the community stating that. But now that it's a fact, there are two things. I stated one of them earlier. If this was Town of Hempstead jurisdiction, which is, it's not because it's state property, if it was our jurisdiction, they never would have been able to operate at the arena until the parking garage was open. I think once the parking garage is open, it'll relieve a lot of the problems. Not all of them, but it'll relieve a lot of the problems. So that's number one, and the garage, I'm told, will be open soon. Number two is, as the supervisor said, the police commissioner is well aware of the issues because they asked us for additional signage there, which we're going to do today. So we're on top of it. We understand all of the issues. We foresaw a lot of issues, but unfortunately, the state, they operate in a vacuum, and they didn't take into consideration the concerns of the local residents. So we have real issues with the state, and we're addressing those issues, and we'll do everything we can locally to ameliorate the problem. But the fact of the matter is, that arena should not have been open until that parking garage was open.
I appreciate that answer. I just want to go back to preparation. Preparation is important because I live in Brooklyn I grew up in Brooklyn, and you know already when you're going somewhere, if you don't want to pay for parking, you got to leave early. Parking is a problem in the boroughs regardless, right? So we know that's still going to be a problem. Even if the garage was open, people still are not going to want to pay for parking if they don't have to. So I feel that this should have still been dealt with proactively, knowing that if you don't have to pay $55, you're not going to. You're going to find somewhere else to park for free. I still feel it could have been dealt with better. Thank you.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I said, that's why we're not limiting it to 5 blocks, and that's why we're actually writing to the state, because you would have thought your state representatives would have realized that that's what people do. They go to an event early to get out of it. And like I said, and it's not just limited to hockey games. That's why I said the state's got to step up. The state's got to expand this map for all the communities down there. And it's unfortunate. The state did this, and then we had the foresight by the board members to say this is coming. I knew it was going to be a problem down there. You did, but I will say the nice thing is, if it passes today, the signs are going up quick. Signs are going up really, really quick down there. So we want to do everything we can to get everybody happy. And like I said, we'll do our fair share, but the state's got to step up, and the state's got to have the foresight to expand that map for all the communities down there that are affected. Michael, I know I wish you a happy Merry Christmas. So good. Angel, Joya,
Don,
and Merry Christmas.
Don,
Yeah.
just one thing. The signs are going up starting this afternoon. That's how serious the town board is in getting this done. They did not have the parking garage open. If they were fair to us, they would have let there be free parking until they sorted out that mess. When you do the math, it's $40 to park there. If you can get free parking, I know the way the situation is, you go looking for free parking. The signs are going up. If you do the math, the ticket now from Nassau County is $150. If you get the tickets on the car, I'm not saying we're going to balance Bruce Blakeman's budget, But $150 is more than $40 to park. So we're hoping to push them back into that mess with the garage that is not properly prepared. So we're on this.
Hi, good morning. You just name and address for the record?
Good morning. Angel Joyner.
Morning.
On Biltmore, 234 Biltmore Avenue. And that's not fairly close to the arena, even though it is close. Biltmore is off of Hempstead Turnpike, but it goes back for 3 blocks with crosswalks. That's how far people are willing to walk. When I come home, I have a relationship with a lot of the law enforcement there, and the ones that I know I am law enforcement. I see that they block certain blocks, but it stops at Warwick. So Biltmore is after. The following blocks are not blocked for the incoming. So when I get home, I have to circle. I'm a corner property. I'm on Murray Hill and Biltmore and Waldorf. My property goes to the back. So when I come home, it seems like there's a party at my house because the whole radius around my whole property is full of cars. They do block the driveway, they do block my garage, and not being redundant, but it's even the style that they park. They park bumper to where people can't even get out that live in the house that were there prior to them parking. The other issue is the litter. Because they walk so far to get back to me, because they're heading towards Dutch Broadway. Once you're back by me, you're willing to walk very far. But they stop at Wendy's, they stop at Dunkin' Donuts. So in the morning, all that garbage is around my corner. Also, they congregate. Once the event is over, they have to stay under my window and discuss it for 40 minutes. I can hear it. I literally do doubles and triples, and I'm just not in the mood sometimes for what I have to deal with. I shouldn't have to be getting cars towed when I just want to go home and go to bed. I have to get cars towed from in front of my driveway, towed from in front of my garage. Also, the urination, that is a problem. They treat the neighborhood like, I don't know. I just never pictured me coming home from work and I have to yell at somebody that's urinating in my hedges, shoving Wendy's garbage in my hedges. I don't know, it's just, I don't know the word to put on it, but it's extremely aggravating to come from a stressful job, to come home to a stressful situation, and then they want to be confrontational about something they're wrong about. So that's another issue. I also wanted to say, there were 2 events where, I don't know what the events were, but they had helicopters. And I thought SWAT was outside. Like the helicopters just hovered. They didn't choose to have a place to land. They literally hovered for the whole event. That's another, that's a disturbance in a residential neighborhood to just hear a helicopter for these 2 events. I don't know if it was opening night and one other event, but it was 2 separate nights that the helicopters stay out there relatively late.
Angel, we hear you loud and clear. Like I said, it's unfortunate the state and the state representatives, dropped this upon, and we're doing all we can. That's why I said we're not limiting it, we're expanding it, and we want to expand it even more. But we'll stay on top of the police, and like I said, the county county executive elect said he'll stay on top of the police for enforcing, because that's what it's going to come down to: constant enforcement, so people understand this is a residential area. And you know what? And it's got to be every single event, because different people come to different events, and they're like, well, what I can, and you're right, and you got to make it a real deterrent. So we'll try and tell the county to stay on top of that. He's made a pledge, like I said, that we're going to do all we can, and hopefully we'll get better when that garage opens. But I think we all knew this was going to happen. I think before I came supervisor, they approved this thing, but I think you shake your head. I think we all saw this coming. But now we're saying, all right, we're going to expand it. But the state representatives have to expand that map for more areas up there to protect them. Because somebody said before, you do 5-block radius, say, if I can't park 5 blocks away, I'll park the 6th block. Someone's always looking to say, like, I'm going to save my $40. And again, so we'll keep doing what we can here, but the police have to do their thing, and we're hopeful the state will do their thing. And thank you very much. Harold Fong? Good morning, Mr. Fong. Merry Christmas, and if you could please give your name and address for the record.
My name is Harold Fong. I'm living 153 Claridge Avenue in Elmont. Basically, my issue was addressed, but again, we talk about the expansion. I'm not directly across the arena, but as you say, if you guys limit the parking restrictions, it's going to be like a domino effect. People are going to look to go past that and so on and so forth. So basically, right now on my block, there's already a parking issue because I lived in Elmont for over 20 years. And I've seen the increase as far as residency. There's a lot of absentee landlords who purchase properties and rents them out, and maybe there's like 10 people in the house, and you can't, they only have parking for like 2-3 cars in their driveway, and there's like 5 people. I come home, there's people from that lives 2-3 blocks, 2-3 houses down, parked in front of my house. So it's already a parking issue, and people are putting cones in front of their houses, because they don't want people parking in front of their house. So I know a lot of other stuff, things were addressed, but we need to do something about this because it's a problem right now. And when you talk about issuing parking permits to residents, my question is, how many is each household? Is there a limit to how many permits that will be issued to a home, or how are you guys going to figure this thing out? Because if a single family home has, for example, 10 residents, I'm sure, there's a lot of absentee landlords, they rent rooms in their basements, which is illegal, so are you going to provide permits to all these cars?
Right now, what we're dealing with is the serious problem of congestion and parking issues right within the Elmont community. It's the clerk's office that will be issuing the registration stickers as well as the guest permits. The building department is supposed to deal with the question of illegal apartments, and it would be improper for us to either utilize the new local law, the additional local laws that we think are coming, as a way to circumvent the building department's jurisdiction. The problems you're talking about are real, but enforcement for those belongs directly with the building department. And it would have, it would subvert the effect of what we're trying to do for parking in Elmont if we suddenly impose upon the clerk's office a requirement that people prove that the place where they live is not just the house itself, but also not an illegal apartment. It would, in effect, throw a monkey wrench into the proper enforcement and execution of this parking regulation, if you follow me. Now, that's not to discount the seriousness of the illegal apartments, but that's an enforcement matter for the building department, not for the clerk's office, and not by using the parking area or the parking legislation as an end run around proper enforcement by the building department.
Understood. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for coming today. Carlene Holmes? How you doing? Merry Christmas, and if you please give your name and address for the record.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. My name is Carlene Holmes, and I live at 176 Locust Road Boulevard in Elmont. Just about everything that I would have said has already been addressed, but I am going to mention one thing, and that is my car is among the many that people have mentioned. 3 weeks ago, my car was hit by a person driving down Locust Road Boulevard, going to the arena. Locust Wood is that street directly in front of the racetrack, so that leads you straight into the racetrack. It is in excess of $10,000. It is still in the shop. In addition to that, the car that hit my vehicle went on the curb, hit the neighbor's car, and was suddenly stopped by a tree. I need not say more. All you have to do is not even close your eyes, but imagine what would have happened if one of our children riding down on that particular day. I mean, you can tell the weather by the sounds of children's laughter. That's how we know we're having a good day. And it is just a matter of time that laughter is going to turn into crying. It is not if it happens, it's when it happens. Because what is happening is that the traffic, in an effort to avoid getting off at exit 26, where there's so much traffic to get into the arena, they're getting off at exit 13. And then they go through the neighborhood with no consideration for those of us living there. They're not driving slowly in an effort to accommodate us. They're not doing that. They're racing down, and particularly Locustwood Boulevard, because it goes straight into the arena, has now become a public thoroughfare. None of the streets in Elmont are designed to accommodate the kind of traffic that we're having. So, for the record, that way no one can say they are completely oblivious to this. It is not a matter of if it happens, but when it happens, what are we going to do? Are we going to say we were not aware of it? So I urge everyone who has the ability to make the necessary changes to do so. Do not tell your children that we did not have the foresight to prevent what is inevitable is going to happen. Please, I urge everyone who has the ability to make the necessary changes, do it. If not for us, for our children.
Thank you, Carla. That's why we're having this emergency meeting, to do exactly that, address this. I have one of the slips there, I think. Ross McDonald?
Yeah.
Did you speak, Ross?
Yeah, my wife. My wife's turn.
You're up, Ms. McDonald. Merry Christmas.
Brenda McDonald, 43 Hathaway Avenue, Elmont, New York.
Hi, Ms. McDonald.
Hi, Merry Christmas. I just wanted to make sure that I spoke about just one thing. Everything else was addressed, and the extending of the area, because I happen to live on Hathaway on the dead end, and that parking situation has been a problem, not just for the arena, but for the racetrack. And this is fall, winter, or winter now. But spring, summer, when people are coming and they're looking, because right now they're not moving that far, but eventually they will make their way down to Hathaway Avenue. We've been blocked in, we've been parked in, you know, illegal parking, all of that has been previously stated. So I just wanted to let you know, and Mr. Mascarella's office and Dominic, they have been very helpful in helping us to get like no parking on the dead end. But because we're on that dead end, and who knows, people can't park in those other areas, to just please extend the parking all the way back to Hathaway, you know, the parking sign. So we too, because you know, on a dead end, we drive in because we're on the right. So in order for us to get out, we have to back into our driveway, make a U, and get out. People have parked us in the middle. They parked our, you know, driveways, and so I know you're being considerate, you're understanding. I just wanted to reiterate to push it as far back as you can, because we need that. We need to have a civil lifestyle, because it's been vastly interrupted. Thank you.
Ms. McDonald, thank you very much. And like I said, I mean, I don't think there's any surprise to anybody who would oppose to it. I don't think there's any surprise to me. So we're going to do what we can do in the town. The county's got to do the enforcement. You got someone coming up here. But like I said, I don't know what your state representatives are thinking when they said, hey, let's do this. It makes a great idea. But they did it. So we're going to do the steps we can. And it's nice of you to say nice things about working with Tommy and Dominic. You know, Tommy's probably going to start going out this afternoon and banging up signs himself. He's so committed to this, and I respect that. I don't have any other slips on item to be heard, that's okay. I'm gonna go through. If you didn't sign in and you haven't spoken yet, if you come on up to the mic, sir, and give your name and address for the record, that'd be awesome. And a Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Dale Davis, I live on Locustwood Boulevard. I have a few suggestions. Most of the stuff that people talk about, I'm concerned about too. But these are things that could help. So I think we could ask for some of these streets near the arena to be turned into one-ways, because it's only going to get worse with the stores and all that coming back there. And then we can also ask the UBS to reduce the cost of the parking until that structure is open. And in their marketing, let people know that, hey, don't park in the neighborhood, go in the parking lot. That's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, that's great. Thank you very much. Again, if you did not submit a slip and you'd like to be heard on this item on the calendar, you haven't heard it yet, if you just come on up there, give your name and address at the young man wipes off the mic, and we say Merry Christmas to start it. And your name and address. How are you?
My name is Nicole Belizaire, and I live on Circle Drive. And I think one major issue that hasn't been addressed is we talked about signage, but specifically commercial vehicles. Circle Drive is on the other side of Gotham Avenue, and what we've been seeing are construction trucks, even on nights where there are games or concerts, party buses. So again, I live in a circle, I have a corner house, and naturally the street is very narrow. And what's been happening is whether it's construction trucks getting stopped or stuck on the block, party buses late at night, they can't go forward, they can't reverse, and so it becomes an issue where these vehicles are being held up on the street for half an hour or more because they can't reverse or move forward, and then naturally residents can't get in or out of their homes. So if there can be specific signage preventing these vehicles from coming in to these side streets, because then that becomes a major issue, even a hazard if there's a fire or, just residents trying to get in and out of the neighborhood.
Just so you know that there was a dedicated truck route, and we reached out to the police precinct to point that out. That said, there were parameters that were set. Everyone's got to abide by them, and the police department was informed about that to go down into enforcement just of that, because they're not supposed to be in there.
Yeah,
They're not.
and this is happening every weekend. I mean, just
And look, it's been open for a month. That's what I'm saying. I don't get what the state reps are thinking, but we'll do what we can. And like I said, we'll work with the police to try and you hit on it. Like I said, we want to expand it. Yeah. We want to really limit it down there to send a tough message. And you know what? So working with it, I would say, you know what? Just keep the communication with Councilor Muscarella's office. He's got good staff that's down there.
Call Dominic. He'll talk to you about maybe putting no commercial truck on the street. It's already there or not?
Dominic, where are you? There he is. We're going to wipe that down, and then the next, you didn't sign in there. If you come on up there and give your name and address, and Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Supervisor. My name is Ray Aurora. I live at 3712 West Seaford. I'm as far away as from the Coliseum, from the arena as possible. But it seems to me like the plan is that once you pass this legislation today, you'll go ahead and start enforcement after the signs go up. My question to you is, why doesn't the town board, the incoming county executive, the police commissioner, have a public service announcement during the game? Or during any event that happens at the arena, or there's also a sign outside. I passed by it last night. Why don't we just let people know in advance rather than wait for the tickets to come in and for the word to spread? I think, and I'm a nobody, I think I can get John Ledecky on the phone within 4 phone calls. I'm pretty sure the county executive can get him within 1 phone call. But just a simple public service announcement so the word spreads. They don't have to wait for tickets to come rolling in for the...
It's a really good idea. Maybe they can do that. Maybe Bruce can give it the message, because I know fans are really excited when a politician has a public service announcement at the arena. I'm sure they'll give him a round of applause. But it's actually a very thoughtful idea. And you know what? Tickets are all digital. Maybe they can attach a message to these digital tickets saying, hey, don't park in the neighborhood. You know what? It's a great
There
idea.
are some people who actually would probably run out, there are many who won't, but there's some people that might run out in the middle of the game to go move their car.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, Merry Christmas. Can we have a name and address for the record?
Yes. Good morning. My name is Gwendolyn Brown, and I've been at some of the meetings that I've had before. And I have a daughter named Crystal Brown who has pulmonary arterial hypertension, which means that she has a lung disease and she has also a problem with her heart. And I'm here for parking, but the parking relates to a pre-existing issue that they never addressed for us, which was the windows. I live in a corner house, and what has happened is we were promised to get windows, and I was in the process of getting that prior because I knew that this was going to happen, and it would be pollution and everything. And so I had a company to come, and they assessed that I needed to change my windows if that construction was going to go forward. So I went ahead and I ordered the windows, not all, but some. And I was at the meeting, and I spoke to someone at the meeting. I don't have the names with me. But what happened was they told me that they would escalate my problem, and they would come and assess my house, and that they would protect my daughter who's on oxygen and who has these two deadly illnesses. They came and they assessed my windows, and they said, yes, you need new windows. But they told me not to go through with the contractor. They wanted me to use their contractor, but they never did it, and they started the work, so I went ahead and had the windows installed. Now they have refused to pay for the windows, and the windows are installed, so I'm paying for it. On top of that, now, there's cars on the front of my house, around parking on the side of my house, and the fumes are coming inside my house because she has to crack the window a little bit in her bedroom because she needs air. And we can't even open the windows because it's like the fumes are coming in my house from the front and from the side. And I just need for the people to stop parking in front and on the side of my house. They leave garbage. I have cameras. They throw their garbage in front of my house and on the side of my house. We have to clean after each game. It's not fair for people to do this. So I think immediately, I've been promised that they would escalate and make my daughter priority. They never did it. I think that today or tomorrow, someone should come put a sign and say, do not park on the front or the side of this house, because it is causing my daughter to have a short life. So what are we going to do about that?
Okay. I don't know who you talked to. I don't know who you talked to about the windows, but why don't we?
I know the windows. Is a problem. Yes.
I understand, but why don't we have Dominic? You back there?
I'm sorry.
Is Dominic back there? Okay, maybe I can ask Joe. See the nice woman? That's Joe. Joe works for me. Joe's going to get your address of your property, okay?
Yes, they did that before, and they told me they were escalated because my daughter had a delicate.
Okay, we're gonna have somebody go down and take a look for you, okay? All right.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Where's Joe?
Joe's gonna meet you in the back there. Joe, where are you? Right back there. Great, right in the back room. He's coming around right behind you. All right. Have you spoken yet? But the speaker gets one on the topic. So, but if we'll stick around and talk to you after. You know that. Anybody else who did not sign in, who has not spoken, and wants to talk about this item, if you please go to the mic and give your name and address. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I want to thank Ray Aurora for being here. He has a new podcast, bipartisan, called To the Point with Mike and Ray. And they deal with such issues, and I hope some of these speakers will join him.
Is this regarding this item on the calendar?
This is. Okay. What concerns me is that, once again, you keep pointing to the state, and as well as Councilman Blakeman pointing to the state, regardless of the fact that This arena is here. Everyone knew it was coming. I noticed some speakers talked about prevention and lack of planning. The parking issues in their neighborhoods are nothing new. I think very little has been done to resolve those, and in fact, there has been time to do that. And rather than to blame the state, which I really hope for the next 2 years and the next 4 years, we're not going to hear that, because all we heard for the last 2 years was pointing to the county. Again, these are issues that should have been addressed long ago and prevented, because we knew it was...
Supervisor, the issue is whether or not this proposal to expand restricted parking is something that should be passed or not passed, supported or not supported by the speaker, not a philosophical discussion as to whether or not the county or the state should be blamed.
I wasn't going to speak, Mr. Town Attorney, but being that you've made it highly political by continually pointing to the state when the town, in fact, has failed to address many of these problems, I felt it's my civic duty to speak, and I'm thrilled that so many people, and the impression I get is they really have very little faith that this is going to be resolved, because nothing was resolved previously. And all I can hope is that the words nervously spoke here today will be fulfilled, and these problems will be resolved based on proven history. I don't think that's going to happen, but these people do deserve some relief. And by the way, as far as this arena, I know that it's being looked upon, and I'm not a fan either. I think it was a mistake to put it here, but I don't think Mr. Aurora mentioned having politicians come and make announcements. I think that was a generalization of having an announcement made by employees of the arena. And I really hope that now that you're really speaking so poorly about it, aside from the parking, I'm kind of hoping there aren't any political photo ops at the arena. Thank you.
I make a motion to accept and adopt.
You want a second?
Okay, and this, of course, is a vote on the proposed local law as amended. Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Blake. Aye. Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Diaz-Pasino.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much to the residents who came here today. It's passed. Like I said, now call your state representatives and ask them to expand that map to the other communities as well. And if they do, we'll adopt it. We're sending the communication to them to do that. You know what? We'll do as much as we can. We do appreciate all of you coming out today. And again, I know I wish everyone here, because I make sure of it, but a Merry, blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for coming here today. Madam Clerk, please give the roll. Please call the administrative calendar.
Yes, there are items 2 through 7 on the administrative calendar. I also have 2 items that are of an urgent or emergency nature. The first is entitled "A Resolution Calling a Public Hearing on the Proposed Renewal of a Cable Television System Franchise Agreement with Cablevision Systems Long Island Corporation." And the second resolution is entitled "A Resolution Authorizing the Acceptance of a Sea Turtle Structure and Stipend from the New York Marine Rescue Center for the purpose of community engagement and awareness about endangered sea turtles." Those items will be added to the administrative calendar as items 8 and 9.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does any member of the board wish to speak or separate any item in the administrative calendar? Okay, I have a couple of slips in who would like to be heard on this. We start with Diane Madden.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. Item number 2, could someone please explain this resolution in detail regarding how the public's going to be permitted to speak if, you know, during the miscellaneous and also the administrative calendar?
Yes, it's number 2 is an act to amend the vehicle and traffic law in relation to the town of Hempstead. This is what is commonly referred to by localities, municipalities like the town of Hempstead, as home rule message. What our purpose is, if you look at the actual backup to number 2, is to encourage the Senate and the Assembly to pass bills currently pending before them that will allow us to expand the parking district. What we just did in the hearing is...
Ms. Brown, are you talking about item number 2 or item number 3?
Number 3.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh.
Number 3.
The procedures, I believe she did say 2 as well. I know she meant 3. The procedures of the town of Hempstead are routinely revised. The changes that are being made here are relatively simple. Currently, the procedures state that if a matter is tabled, it has to remain tabled for 1 year. Instead, this reverts to the norm with respect to parliamentary procedure that if an item is tabled upon a motion, it can be untabled virtually at any point. The second thing that it changes is to bring our rules into conformity with Robert's Rules of Order and the universal rules across the board that for every legislative body, be it a town council, the county legislature, the assembly in Albany, the Congress, etc., that if a motion be made or an item be proposed by a member, then there must be a second, and that is all. The third is simply to reduce from 5 calendar days to 4 calendar days, but still within conformity, actually in excess of what is required by New York State law by Governor Hochul.
Okay, so nothing here is in relation to public speaking or communication during miscellaneous or the administrative calendar?
In every respect, all the rules of the town board meetings remain exactly the same as you've been familiar with them, except for what I highlighted.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I don't have any other slips in the administrative calendar. Is anybody else wish to be heard that did not sign it, like to talk in the administrative calendar?
I signed in.
Okay.
I did sign
If
in.
you please come to the back and give your name and address for the record, and Merry Christmas.
Franklin Square. I'd like to speak on item number 3. These procedures state that each speaker receives up to 3 minutes to make their statement. The reality is that the presiding officer, Don Clavin, allows certain persons to speak longer than others. Some people are given the courtesy of allowing them to at least finish their sentence. Others are cut off immediately after the 3-minute bell rings. Some people get to digress from the topic, others do not. You only need to view the previous meeting to see how certain people who spoke on the cannabis legislation were provided much more time than others. And it's very obvious that the people who are given much more time usually agree with the board's position as opposed to those who oppose the board's position. Advisory Opinion OML AO 4377 from the Committee on Open Government says that if time limits are relaxed for one person, they must be relaxed in the same manner for others. This unfair treatment by the presiding officer is a violation of the speaker's constitutional rights. Unfortunately, their only legal recourse is to file a lawsuit in federal court. Since this is costly and time-consuming, I would suggest that the town board add a provision that would make violation of a person's constitutional rights in a town board meeting by the presiding officer a violation of the town's ethics code. This would at least provide some protection to residents and may prevent our town supervisor from violating the constitutional rights of meeting attendees. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Cauchi. Merry Christmas, and the Toys for Tots program was a big success. I don't have any other slips here. If not, may I please have a motion on the administrative calendar?
Yes, I move the administrative calendar is entirely up to number 8.
Second.
Actually, up to 9.
Oh, number 9, okay, so 8. All right, go ahead. Okay.
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Diaz-Pasito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Amen. I second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Esposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Guzman.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Okay, before we begin the public comment, first I do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy and a safe New Year for everybody. This is the last board meeting of our colleague on the town board, Councilman Blakeman. As everybody knows, he's the county executive-elect. I just want to say on behalf of myself and all the colleagues on the town board, everybody you work with, we wish you much success. We wish you only great things. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve with you on the town board, to be friends with you. I think you're a really good individual. I want you to succeed. We look forward to working with you. And as a very simple gesture, we have a nice cake that says congratulations, but we want you to really enjoy it. Congratulations, Bruce.
Mr. Supervisor, my colleagues, let me say this to each and every one of you. It's been a real honor to serve the people of the 3rd District and to work with such great public officials as all of you. I want to also thank our town board staff for their tireless work on behalf of the residents of the town, and all of our workers who they do just an amazing job, whether it be in parks, recreation, highways. Our anchor program is the greatest program in the United States, and we have so many things to be proud of. And one of the most important things I think we can be proud of is I've had a chance to meet over the last few weeks with leaders throughout the region and throughout the United States. And I can tell you that with the leadership of Supervisor Clavin and the people on this town board, what they did during COVID-19 is unprecedented, it's unmatched. The PPE that went out to businesses, to universities, to libraries, to the rezoning that we did, whether the relaxation of our zoning so that restaurants could expand their outdoor dining, to free testing, to mobile vaccinations. The money that was given to this town by the federal government went exactly for what it was intended for, to help the people of this town cope with COVID-19. And this town board saved lives. With our mobile vaccinations, we save lives. We talk about in the County of Nassau the fact that we have over a 90% rate of adult vaccinations. Most of that is because of the work that was done here. Most of that was done under the leadership of our supervisor. So if there's anything I can point to in all my tenure here, it is how we handled the COVID-19, unlike other jurisdictions that use the money for other purposes that did not help their residents. So I want to say that upon leaving here today and knowing that we still have a lot of COVID concerns, the work that was done here saved lives, and for that I say thank you and God bless you all, and it was my honor to serve. Thank you.
No. You can sit down, Bruce. No, listen to me. Listen, you don't go anywhere, Bruce. Don't try this. All right, listen. First off, we all do great things together. That goes for the town board and everyone we work with. But Bruce, I know this is your last board meeting, and so I know you're gonna really enjoy the last public comment you get to hear. We have a couple of speakers, so I know you'll enjoy hearing them. Why don't we start with, first look is from Diana. I'll give you a double Merry Christmas, all right? So there you go.
Right back at you. My concerns are with the animal shelter. Mr. Pastore has released 2 dogs that came in horrific condition. And I'm going to read an email from an employee at the animal shelter. And it's from Emily Tennant Durant, who must be in pretty desperate state of mind to write the words that she did. The owner for this dog came into the shelter looking for her. He told me this dog was a black female who was lactating, as she recently had puppies. He also showed a video of Batty with her puppies in an outdoor, outside kennel from a few days ago. I did not let him inside the shelter due to the dog's condition. The owner goes on in this email complaining that his other dog, Seized, was picked up by the police, but Mr. Pfister returned that lactating dog as well. Emily goes on to say she's very clearly in bad condition, and we know this is not the first time this has happened. We had another one of his dogs, Sleeves, also skinny and lactating. We gave this dog back to him despite her condition. Is there a reason we did not question this dog's condition or asked to see veterinary records about her care? We only saw pictures of the dog, but considering her condition, why was it sufficient in this case to return her without asking for veterinary records? This dog, after 3 months, has not been brought back to the shelter for spay, as the owner agreed. No mention of making an appointment, though previously agreed to spay her. Also, in Slee's memos, it claims these litters were accidents. But after seeing yet another malnourished nursing mother, and me seeing that they are kept outdoors, he clearly lied about this, and these are no accidental litters. I am sending this email because I am concerned that we will just give this dog back as we did before, which I believe is not right. Now, this girl was desperately trying to stop Mr. Pastore from releasing this dog in horrific condition to an outside kennel. Both dogs are not taken care of properly, and who knows how many others. Once again, given the dog's condition, I would ask for vet care paperwork. That would be in the dog's best interest. In summary, I'm asking that we do more for this dog than we did before, and to follow up on the condition of Sleeves, at minimum, get her and all of the other dogs spayed. This is how she closes it. I cannot imagine I am the only one that feels that way. Well, I can tell you, Ms. Tanner is not the only one that feels that way. And you want to talk about unkept promises, Councilman Muscarella, this board is filled with them. And I urge you to do something different and transfer Mr. Pastore and get someone in there caring about our animals.
Thank you, Ms. Madden, and Happy New Year. Next slip I have is Felix Percacci. Merry Double Christmas.
Felix Percacci, Franklin Square. I knew Bruce Blakeman was going to leave. What he said about the COVID-19 funds that were given by the federal government conflicts with what the town controller said on October 20th at the budget hearing. We have 30 million plus in the bank, and we didn't use it properly, so I don't know how he could possibly say that, but I hope he does become a good county executive, but he wasn't a good councilman. Steve Leventhal has not acknowledged receipt of my ethics complaint I submitted 2 months ago. I sent him an email yesterday, and Mr. Nocella at the last town board meeting said he was going to ask Mr. Leventhal to contact me. Who can I talk to about getting this problem resolved?
Mr. Percacci, you're doing it for a decade. No, it's public comment time. We're listening to it.
Don Durham is not providing me a status of my FOIA requests that are past due. Who can I talk to about getting this problem resolved? As for the January 4th meeting, if If this meeting is simply to inaugurate elected officials and no official business is to be performed, this town board meeting should be canceled. Supervisor Clavin, instead of having scores of employees sitting around for 2 hours accomplishing nothing, why not have them search town hall for all the federal CARES invoices so we can close out my FOIL requests, which are overdue by over 10 months. Also, just so you know, the town board meetings by law must be open to the general public. A town board meeting cannot be an invitation-only event. Over a month ago, Councilman Blakeman went before the press asking that the federal infrastructure funds be used to help veteran organizations affected by COVID-19. The town has over $30 million of unspent COVID-19 relief funds in the bank. Yet this town board, in the 3 board meetings since Blakeman's announcement, has not allocated any money to help these veteran organizations. Who can I talk to get help with this issue? I do love your signs outside blaming Kathy Hutchell for the mask mandate. I wish you would put your name on everything you do, Mr. Clavin, and all the elected officials, including Kathy Hutchell, every state senator, every state assembly person, every congressman. I wish we'd all put our names on what we do so people could know that we didn't spend money properly on COVID-19. We have your name on it. We know that we renovated bathrooms for individuals with COVID-19 funds. I wish everyone would put their name on it. I wish they put names on how much each mailing cost and how many toys were actually collected for that $50,000 mailing. Thank you.
Okay, just so you know, the first tax office was like one of the biggest successes, so that's a good thing. I don't have any of the slips on the public comments. Anybody who didn't sign in wishes to be heard? Then I would tell everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and blessed health for everybody next year. See you next year, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. Oh, okay. You did ask? Yeah, I did ask it. So why don't you come on up there to the mic and give your name and address?
You're so fast. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I've had a couple of cups of coffee.
Good morning, Mr. Blakeman. And I guess congratulations to Mr. Blakeman, but I'm not sure if he's starting off in the right foot with his mask, mentioning the governor and this and that. I thought we were supposed to be working all together now, brand new year, let's move forward, instead of acting in disdain. So I just want to ask you something. Why didn't you call me? You said you were going to call me, and you didn't. As far as the animal shelter and the TNR program.
Pretty sure I asked somebody in the staff to give you a call there.
Why would you ask somebody to give me a call back? I thought I was going to hear from you, and I'm hoping to still. So if you could find it some way after the new year to call me, and we'll discuss what's going on.
Oh, Mr. Pastori, did you make a phone call?
I did.
What?
I did.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't you, and I don't want to speak to Mr. Pastori. He's part of the problem with the shelter. I think you might think he's a very nice person, but when it comes to handling the animals and a huge shelter of this capacity, and the TNR program, you could revert back to the TNR program during state COVID protocol, but he really doesn't have the authority to do that. You have the authority to change and revert the program the way it was, not just once a week, and not just saying that it's because of COVID. It can be done.
Okay.
And you have to call me. I don't want you to call.
After the meeting, I did follow up, and I was told it's once a week, but when people show up without an appointment, they never turn anybody away. So.
No, I went there and I said, well, that's not true at all.
Okay, that's the representation that was made to me, so I'll follow up on that. If that's not the case,
You call me like you said you would, and you kept saying I was going to call. I was expecting Donald Clavin to call me so I could tell you, how my feelings and what's going on with the shelter as a citizen, and not somebody that actually is working in the shelter. I need to speak to somebody outside of the shelter. Donald Clavin, he might be nice to you, a nice person to you. You're only here for a couple of years or a year. So we have a lot of experience knowing Mr. Pastori, and I would never even take anything that he says for word. And he has numerous lawsuits against him. That should speak for itself. No, this shelter has to be run by somebody who's capable of handling an animal shelter that cares about animals and that is working towards no kill and not snapping its fingers in front of people that care and killing an animal or doing something stupid like releasing a lactating, skinny dog. I mean, he's got to be able to make the right decisions. We need somebody in there to, he doesn't even want to be there, he said it. He wants to be transferred to another place. Just let's work on this in the new year, please. I beg you. We've been doing this for years now. Diane Madden wouldn't be coming here for years. I mean, she likes to know what's going on in her community as well. But for the animals, we are passionate and we know right from wrong. And
okay. All right, I'll follow up on the other stuff, but I do appreciate you coming in. Anybody else that did submit it?
You said you would.
Is anybody else here that did not sign in wish to be heard? If not, then I'd say again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and health and happiness to everybody. Thank you all.